Good morning, everyone. All right, so we're going to get started here. It's about 8:52, 8:53. So we've got about 40 minutes to the bell. And as I sit down here, the routine will be the same as always. I start by looking at the gap scan to see what's already moving pre-market and what might give me some opportunities for a trade. So I'm beginning to put together the watch list here. I also often keep an eye on stocks that were strong in the previous trading session. So on Friday, so I will keep an eye on ALF, which was strong on Friday. That one's moved up quite a bit, but I would really prefer a pullback on it because I don't have any trades. You can see up here my positions window is empty. That means I've taken no trades yet today. When I take a trade, you'll see the price that I'm in at. And the symbol, so you'll be able to sort of watch as I trade. But as of right now, no trade. So, had I been able to jump on ALF or had I noticed it right here, that could have been a terrific trade. Volume came in. At this point, it's a little extended. So I'm going to wait for, I'll keep that on a side chart, but thanks for mentioning that one. So let's look at the gap scan. All right, so this is our gap scan right here. This is a momentum scanner showing us things that are moving pre-market, but let's look at the gap scan for right now. So our leading gapper is NTLA. Well, NTLA is a $137 stock. So this one is a little expensive. It's a 55 million share float, and for most traders with a small account, it's going to be a no-go. So I would say it's important to look at the leading gapper, but in this particular case, it's not going to be something that I would trade. Next one down, MRIN. Well, this one's interesting because it was active on Friday. It made a sort of big move pre-market, and then once the bell rang, it actually sold off a bit. So this was Friday right here. And then it looks like at 1:50 in the afternoon, it ripped from 3 up to 440, and now pre-market is continuing that move. So that's interesting. It's certainly from a price perspective better than NTLA. The pre-market high is 548. Now I have a daily level here at 570, so let's just check the daily chart for a second. So what was that based on? That might have been actually based on a pre-market level. Yeah, so I'm gonna remove that drawing. And I'll put some new ones on here. So daily levels, oh no, it's 570, it's right there. So we do have a daily level at 570. And then above that, it looks like there's a little bit of a gap here. Starts to move up a little bit more. So this is all as per chapter 4 of the Warrior Pro classes, learning to dial in those levels. So I sort of see it coming into a little bit of resistance. I'm not sure that I'm really going to be a buyer on that one at the moment. Certainly not at the moment, but even today, I'm not really sure. So that one's a bit of a hard maybe for me right now. All right, so next one down, RSLS. This one is $7.82, gapping up 30%. Selling off a little bit right now. You can see the move started on Friday, continued up here to 8, then pulled back, and then up again. So 849 is the high there. Let me check the daily chart. So the daily chart's very interesting because this is a stock that you can see has traded with basically no volume. Then they did a reverse split. And what we sometimes notice with reverse split stocks is that they make these sort of big moves, especially when they don't have a lot of volume. They kind of out of nowhere just surge. So the volume Friday on this looks like 3.6 million shares. So it did start trading on higher volume around June 16th, but the volume has pulled back a bit. believe there is news on it. Let's see. 50% stake. Yeah, so this firm reported a 50% stake in a filing on Friday. So that's a possibility. It's our fourth leading gapper right now. 4.6 million shares of volume already. So it already has more volume at 9 a.m. than it had Friday all day. So that tells us it's going to have high relative volume, which is good. That's what we like to see. High relative volume means a lot of people are going to be watching it. Friday we had IKNX. This one made a couple really big moves. I mean, from 15 all the way up to $25 a share. That was impressive. I did trade it. I made about 10,000 on it, but I also had a pretty big loss on this false breakout of 19 here. So that was disappointing. That was the one I lost 16,000 on. So I'm not sure if I would go back for this one. Probably would want to see it at least back above 20, if not more like 21 or 22, to show me that it actually has a chance at retesting its previous day's high of 25. AVXL is a 70 million share float priced at $32, so that one I don't care for. QADA, this one is 11 million share float, but no volume. Looks like an acquisition, so no trades on that. MXC. MXC is an energy company. Mexico Energy, pre-market high is $12.50. Interestingly, it is a stock that's had a history of making some big moves, but these big red candles, it gaps and then sells off. ALF then is our 9th leading gapper. And this one is a somewhat recent IPO that has kind of gone crazy. I mean, it's made these huge moves. Friday it hit a high of $20.75, and this morning it just came back up to $20.30. So this stock has a couple of advantages. Blue Sky, which is a momentum setup that we talk about in the Warrior Pro classes. Recent IPO breakout, also a momentum strategy that we talk about. So you've got a couple nice things going for it, but it is a bit extended here intraday. It's gotten up a bit too high, so I can't really be a buyer right here without it first pulling back a little bit more. The 5 minutes a little too extended. Look at the 5-minute chart. You've got these one huge green candle and then 4 kind of smaller candles as it's kind of topping out and starting to curl, kind of like it's starting to roll over a little bit. I want to let it roll over, let it pull back, and then maybe there's a trade, I don't know, after a 5-minute setup or something like that. So that one's it's still on watch, but right now I'm just have to wait for a better entry. Given that the price is a little higher, the spreads can be a little bit bigger, so it's important to make sure an entry is really dialed in, because if the spreads turn against you, and it reverses, all of a sudden you're looking at losing 50 cents a share, which is a good size loss. So let's see. So that's ALF. So I have that one over here on this chart. You can see the last 5-minute candle was a doji. So a candle of indecision with a high of 2030. And then pulling back. Something to be mindful, for sure, is the fact that oftentimes these recent IPO stocks are not easy to borrow. MMAT. So MMAT, that's interesting. I actually don't show it as a gapper right now. Well, I guess it closed on Friday at 990, and it's at about 990 here this morning. But it looks like there was a reverse split here as well. So I'm not sure why this one's not on the scan, but it's getting filtered out. But I'm not really sure on that. you know, back over 1076 or 11 or 12 maybe. I'm not sure what the float is on it. I'm not super familiar with that stock. ALF is creeping up to the resistance level at 75. So now you're going to have this double top formation, right? So the high here, very close to a high there. So it would be risky to be a buyer into that double top. But it's good that it's showing us strength. MRIN. So you've got a pre-market pivot right around there, 533. I see Matt is a merger with TRCH. So TRCH, got it. Okay. Small account challenge will begin next week, a week from tomorrow. So everyone here that's that's in the chat room streaming right now, you'll be able to watch during the small account challenge. Yeah, the thing with Matt, it's just not a very good chart. It's pulled back a little bit too much there. Doesn't look that great at the moment. Yes, Matthias. Oops. All right, so it's 5-minute chart, and then I'm going to switch back to MRIN. Okay, so back to the top of the gap scanner. So if I was sitting down right now, 9:05, I would still be pulling up the gap scanner. I would see the leading gappers NTLA, but it's too expensive, so I'd skip over that. MRIN at $5.28. Friday was pretty choppy. You know, popped up, flushed down, popped up, flushed down. It was choppy. It really wasn't that easy to trade. So given that it's a continuation setup with no fresh news that I see, I'm not sure that that's something that I would really want to be trading. I just don't know that I see the setup there at the moment. So I mean, I see maybe a 5-minute setup over 533, but I don't know that I trust it. It trades like a higher float stock, higher than 10, yeah. So, and I could see that by looking at the level 2 and just the way it's moving so far. However, it's important not to totally underestimate the power of a leading gapper. There's a lot of traders out there. We know obviously the Reddit community and everything else. There's a lot of traders out there that are looking at the leading gappers and gainers and just trying to jump on that momentum. They're momentum trading the same as me, but their quality, their method of selecting stocks to trade may simply be what's the biggest mover today, and I'll jump in that. So I think that it's worth keeping an eye on, but I don't really expect this one to do like any crazy fireworks, anything super exciting. I think this would be base hit type of trading, maybe at best. I don't even know if you're going to get like a really, really good base hits. Going further down the scan, AVXL, the float's too high, RSLS. I like the idea, but it broke below VWAP, so it pulled back a little bit too much here. If it was consolidating here, I would like it for the break of 850. So I'll leave it on watch with an order kind of ready at 850. So if it breaks 850, I'd be a buyer, or it looks like it's going to break, but right now it's a no-go. SNR, 82 million share float, that's no good. Beam, this is too expensive. VERV is too expensive. MXC, Mexico Energy, has a history of popping and selling off. And then we have ALF, which is our 11th leading gapper, or 10th leading gapper. The volume weight average price is 1936. So now you're seeing this formation where we have a double top, pretty darn close. So we double topped right up here, and now it's pulling back a little bit. And so this is a healthy pullback. This is what I would have wanted for establishing a lower risk entry with a stop closer to the volume weight average price. But I'm not sure, we've got 22 minutes to the bell still. I'm not sure that we're going to see a really big breakout pre-market. I think this one might be one that we have to wait to the bell. And it's also possible that even at the bell that the volume is, well, probably be high, but the price action is choppy. We'll see. I'm just letting it pull back because, look up here. You had this fairly sharp pullback, and how much did it pull back? It pulled back down to like 1820, right? So at the moment, we're starting to pull back, but this almost looks like a short-term bear flag. Drop sideways, and if it breaks below 1976, then we'd be looking down at 1936. So maybe I'd put an order around 1950. The closest to the volume weight average price that I could get in, the better. Now, sometimes we have breaking news at 9 a.m. And if we had breaking news, stock squeezing up would have been most likely on this scanner here. This scanner will run when the bell rings as well, so I'll be able to keep an eye on what's moving. So let's see. There we go. I think MRIN is a little choppy. Yeah, my experience on it has been that its price action is a bit on the choppy side. So it's 9:10. So our 5-minute candle there closed red, but I still think that this looks like a bear flag, a drop and sideways consolidation. And, we still don't have news on it. But if I get in close to the volume weight average price and then perhaps into the open, we get a squeeze through the high, then, like I said, blue skies, recent IPO, relatively low float, moving quickly. Maybe we see a move up to 22 or higher. So we'll see how much it dips down. So let it keep pulling back a bit. All right. So I wouldn't typically trade warrants. Every now and then I might, you might see warrants moving, but typically that's not what I would go for. So volume weight average price here is 1937, 1938. So I'm taking a long right there. I just bought at 1954. My idea here is I'm buying very close to the volume weight average price. 1938 is the VWAP, and now over 20 would be the add. Now I'm gonna hold this for a little bit because what I want to time is the first 1-minute candle to make a new high. First 5-minute candle to make a new high. And that's going to be when this candle closes and then the next candle makes the new high. So I'm in at $19.60, which is pretty good. $20.25 is where I can put my next order. So right now with a starter, I'm going to hold this and let it work for a few minutes. I just have a starter on it, and I'm going to add as we get the confirmation of that first 5-minute candle making a new high. So you can see my position right there, 1960 average. We have a bottoming tail here, which is always good. And we have 2 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. 2 minutes left. So in 2 minutes, that's when I'm going to be looking to add to this position into confirmation. Nice. Net's got $1,800 on ALF already pre-market. Good work. Good job, Net. That's awesome. All right, so I just let that position sit there, kind of letting the clock run down on the 5-minute candle. And then we're looking for first 5-minute candle to make a new high, which would be a bull flag setup. First 5-minute candle making a new high, and then a break through. I mean, the goal would be the first 5-minute candle makes a new high, and we get back through 20 and back up to the pre-market high of 2058. That would be best case scenario. I'm importing my trades from Friday here. Friday I was up about $28,000. So I'm going to import these trades, and then we'll be able to look at my metrics before the end of the morning stream. As a reminder for those on Facebook or YouTube, in case you didn't already know, trading is risky. Most beginner traders lose money. You should not blindly follow me or anyone else. You should be trading because you understand the strategy. The only way you understand the strategy is by studying and practicing. So that's what I encourage you to do. We have 30 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. The high is 1989, and I will be a buyer as soon as this looks like it's going to break 20. And then the target is a move back up here. So it's starting to look like it's going to break 20. So I'm adding there at 97. We've got 4 seconds left on this candle. 2, 1. Now we have 5-minute confirmation as soon as this candle breaks over $20. So looking for the add at 20. Adding there at 20. Nice. Now let's see what this does. We always have to be careful of false breakouts. There's 1987. I'm holding 6,000 shares right now. 3,400 shares. So this is one of those times where it came back down. I'm going to put an order at 1950. We broke over, and this became a false breakout. It broke by 4 cents and then came back down. And I had added right at $20. I'm going to buy the dip here at 55. This is a dip off the volume weighted average price. We still have 14 minutes to the bell. So this choppiness where we have a false breakout there, it's kind of disappointing because of course I missed this bigger move where we had some really clean price action. And in the first 5-minute setup, we didn't get follow through. So that's always a little bit disappointing. We'll see if this breaks back over 1975. There's 1970 on the ask. So I watched the level 2. And I'm just taking the rest off the table. So that was a $1,600 winner. It could have been a bigger winner if we held, but I had to stop out close to break even. So it puts me on the scoreboard. I'm going to dip trade this one more time at 46. So 1946, that's a dip right off the volume weighted average price. 44 is the average, the volume weight average price, so 46 is a pretty good entry. So if I can get an entry at 46, and then we do squeeze back up to 75, let's see how much higher it goes. It's 55 by 59. Dip trades are an advanced strategy. I talk about that quite a bit in the pro classes. This could be a double bottom down here, but we'll see. So I'm not sure if ALF is going to be the one today. So I took the rest off the table. So I made like $200 on that dip trade. So I think that was worth a shot, but it's disappointing that I missed the sort of bigger move, and then by the time I was catching the pullback, it was not able to break to new highs. MRIN, meanwhile, broke that 533 spot and did go up to 560, so that was nice. I'm not going to write off ALF completely. It may come back into play, but right now is just not strong enough. We have about 10 minutes to the bell. MRIN has that 570 level. RSLS. Well, it's certainly below the VWAP. $570 on MRIN is a daily level. It's the high of this candle on October 23rd. Yes, MRIN, the float shows as 10.57 million shares. But no news. It's continuation from Friday. And Friday it was a little choppy, so I would expect it'll be choppy again today, realistically. We have about 8 minutes to the bell. Blue sky on MRIN. Well, let me see what the all-time highs are. No, that's not going to happen. RSLS, yeah, the 5-minute chart being below VWAP is what gives me pause there. So the orange lines are usually for intraday levels, and the blue lines are for daily levels. But sometimes I will be on one and I don't switch it because I just need to draw the line quickly. So it would be nice to see this hold around 19. That would be the previous resistance pre-market. So if it holds that level, then that would be good. Highest volume of the day is on a false breakout. That's discouraging. Nobody likes that. So I have a couple trades so far on ALF, up $1,800. Had a night. My two best entries were dips. So got a nice dip here off the VWAP, held that for a little bit, added for the break of 20. It didn't break 20, stopped out as it did a false breakout, but had some profit, added back on a second dip of the VWAP and made another $200 there. So $1,600 on the first trade and $200 on the second. Neither home runs, but little base hits. Gets me started on the day. Gets me on the scoreboard, like I said. And, you know, as I said, for beginner traders out there, you should not try to blindly follow me or anyone else. You've got to learn the strategy. You've got to study and you've got to practice. Trade in a simulator. My results are not typical. My experience trading has not been typical. You should practice a simulator until you can prove profitability, and only then put real money on the line. So ALF right now, what levels do I see? Well, we're only 5 minutes to the bell, so it's kind of tricky to take an entry this close to the bell unless it's right at the pre-market high. When we're like cruising right into the pre-market highs, then I don't mind taking trades right at the right kind of going into the open because that's where we squeeze into the open. But I'm just not sure if that's going to happen here. But we know that this one can move quickly, so we'll see what it wants to do. It's not even an ABCD setup though right now because it made a new low. We've got RSLS. So ALF, RSLS. RSLS is the third leading gapper, which makes it a little bit more obvious, but it needs to get back over the VWAP. So if it can get over 8, then I may be a buyer to anticipate the squeeze back to 825 and 850. But right now it's going to have resistance at 791. Resistance at the volume weight average price. So I'm going to put ALF here. I'm going to put RSLS here. So as you guys know, I'm doing my small account challenge starting next week. For those tuning in on Facebook and YouTube, please hit the thumbs up for the pre-market watch list, which I'm going to be streaming every day this week. I appreciate you guys hitting that thumbs up and sharing the broadcast with a few of your friends who are interested in trading. All right, we're coming up to about 3 minutes to the open. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. I'm gonna move this over here. Okay. So I've got ALF However, ALF is on a bit of a descending kind of trend right here. We'll see what it does. And then RSLS. What do you guys think? What's your favorite this morning? Between ALF and RSLS. Couple voting for MRIN. You guys, you're not wrong in that it's the second leading gapper, but I don't know. RSLS price better for small accounts, yeah. But it's certainly more bearish. The pattern is more bearish. The fact that it's below VWAP. So it would need to rip through the VWAP. So it's got a little bit of headwind against it. It's got the 200 moving average at 1394, but it does have room up to that level. So it's good, but not perfect. MRIN, I don't know, maybe over 560. I'll put it on the chart over 560. I'll put it on my order window, so I'm watching it. ACHV, yeah, that one's a little bit of a tricky one. It's below the 200 moving average as well. ALF, what I would kind of expect at the open would be a bit of a sort of pop and drop type of thing. But if it could break over 20, this pivot of $20.04, if it can break that level, then we've got something to work with. So I'm going to put my order at $20.50, but I'm also going to watch for dips. Because if it flushes, if it sells off, we could get a double bottom at 918, or we could get a dip possibly off the VWAP at 1944. I mean, this may be one where I regret stopping out where I did because it ends up working, but it's just hard to say. So orders at $20.50, and I'm watching with just a few seconds to the bell. So I bought 6,000 shares. I want to see if we get that break through 20 bucks. I'm going to add off the VWAP. So added down there at 50 for red to green. And then I'll look for the curl. Watch this, red to green over 75, and then 85 is where I look to add for the red to green move. Adding at 75 right there. Then look for 85, then look to break at 20. There we go, taking some profit off the table. That's a nice trade. May have sold a little bit too soon, but now I'm going to let it pull back for a second and dip trade long at 50. Bought at 50, now looking for the squeeze through 75. Over 75 is the next add. Added right there, and now looking for the move up towards 21. Taking profit off the table at 21. So, I stopped out of this thing pre-market, and it did exactly what I thought it would do. Well, not exactly. I didn't think it would drop before it ripped this much, but all right. So the high right now is 21.25. The problem is it's extended. So I've got $11,454 of profit. Where's the next trade? Quick long at 21.20 and adding at 50. Now looking for the squeeze to 22. Watching, adding right there, 90 for the break of 22. We're looking, I'm thinking on this, 22.50, 23. There's 22.30, adding right here, 22.35. This is parabolic momentum as it's going straight up. There's 22.50. Can we get the break? Not bad, not bad. How much higher is it going to go? A little pullback. It puts me up 19,000. High of this candle is 22.50. Dip trade long at 21.83. Bought the dip. Now looking for the curl back through 22. Stopped on the dip trade. Gave back what I had just made on the previous trade. I'm going to look for another dip There's a 10,000 share seller there at added at 83, bought the dip. Looking for the break now, back over 2150. Watch over 21 for the add. There's 96 added right there for the break of 21. Nice. Now, will we get that test all the way back to 2175? No, not quite. Sizing down for a moment. New order at 22. So a bit of chop there out of the gates on it, but holding small size and looking for dip trades off the open price. I mean, the thing is, added right there at $20.16. So just taking quick dip trades. But yeah, the thing with this is that it's so volatile. So where I was adding up here on that dip, I thought it was going to immediately retest the highs right there. And I lost 10 grand on that drop. And then I did a dip, made back a couple thousand. So I'm back to up just about 12,000 on the day, which you could see how in the first 3 minutes, how much of a roller coaster it can be. High of this current candle is $21. So we're starting to set up the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Added right there at 2050, looking for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high over 21. Watching 75, there's 80. I'm taking a little profit into the move just to be safe. New order goes at 21.24. It hasn't confirmed with the new candle to make a new high. I'm selling the rest right now. I'm going to let it pull back for a second and then add back. Added back at 99, just 2,000 shares to start. I'm looking for that first 1 minute candle to make a new high. There we go. So that puts me back to up 15,000 on the day. Holding small size now. So first candle made a new high up to 21.25. New order goes at 21.50. If we break 21.50, then we're going to look for a retest at 22. Adding right there, 21.50. Now looking for the retest of $22 as it starts to heat up, as it curls off this level. The next add is 21.75 and $22. So once we see this momentum and see it holding here, now we're going into ABCD pattern. High is 21.50, new order is 21.90. So watching a dip. Adding right there at 34, buying the dip. There's 67, 68. Let's see how much higher it goes. Holding 1,300 shares right now. Sizing down a little bit. It's a little chop. I'm going to let it pull back again off of $20. RSLS has just gone red at the open, so that one's not getting really a lot of follow through. So ALF is the right stock to be watching, but it's a bit choppy. So our pivot right now is 21.71. Bought the dip at 78. So catching a dip trade there off the volume weighted average price, which is 65. I'm happy with that. Take a little off the table at 21. So that dip there was right off the yellow volume weighted average price. My order's at $22, and I'm going to kind of wait for the next entry. High of this candle's 21.71. Can I get another dip off of 21? Let's see if it breaks 21 again. Bought at 16, bought the dip right there. Trying to time the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, and then over 71, I'll be adding for a retest of 22. So holding right now and looking to add over 71. New orders at, I'm going to put it at 86. That way I can add kind of every 10 cents as it starts squeezing higher. This is an ABCD pattern here. So we're looking for the break through 2150, 2175, and then 22. The longer it holds up here in this consolidation, the better it looks for that break through 2150. Added at 2103. So anytime I can have a dip like that to add, I'll add on the dip and then let it curl back up. Looking for the break at 2145. So right now we're getting a little bit of a bull flag right here. And we're looking for the break through 2171 and then up to the highs. So orders at 22 now. Added at 28. So buying these dips as it's consolidating above the VWAP. And we're looking for the break through 2150. We've got about a minute left on this 5-minute candle, and then the first 5-minute candle to make a new high will be over 2171. So then we've got a 5-minute setup along with the 1-minute setup. So that gives us multi-time frame alignment. So I'm going to add again at 98. I'm trying to buy the dips here at the VWAP into the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. So watch over 2125, then 2135, 2145 for the breakthrough 2150. We've got 30 seconds left, so 5-minute is starting to set up for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. Watching over 35 and 45. We've got 20 seconds left. $15 seconds left for the 5-minute setup. So looking for my add into confirmation. Added at 99 again. 4 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. And now let's look for the break through 2125, 2150 right up here as we come up higher. Can we curl right here? No. There's a 10,000 share bid at 90. I'm going to put a new order at 2080. Bought the dip at 2085. Brings my cost basis down a little bit. Sold that for a small loss. So up 16,000 right now at 940. I was looking for this to consolidate and break through 2171. It came back to the VWAP and is breaking the VWAP going down. So that's the first 10 minutes of trading. Down here, I'll do a dip trade at 91. Actually filled at 89. So when we get panic sell-off like that, I buy those dips. So that right there, nice $600 winner. I'm in at 1989. But ultimately, that's not the strength that I was hoping to see. So we got our high there of 2250. The cleanest trades were right at the open, and it's gotten choppy since then. So I was up 19,000 and then gave back half. Made back 7,000, so now back to up 16,000, which is good. ALF, I'll keep that up on a chart in case it ends up getting back above the volume weighted average price and finally making a clean move. The levels that would need to break for me to be interested, certainly 2171, but even back over, I would say 2130, 2140, I might take starters, but we're a ways off from that now. RSLS, the second one that was on our watch list. Could there be a dip trade in here for a curl back up through the high over 8? I have a stop at 1976 on the rest of ALF. MRIN, back to the VWAP. ALF below the VWAP, but curling back up here, which is good to see. So it's coming back to the VWAP, which is at 66. Halt level on ALF is at 2246, so that's a little ways away. ETX. The chart's loading kind of slowly on this. AMC. I like it over the daily level of 64. Down here, I'm not as interested. So ALF is below VWAP. It bounced, it hit the VWAP and sold off. So it's coming back down to the low. A double bottom entry for a long down here when it's below VWAP is just a bit risky. I'm going to sell the rest break even there. Yeah, so like down here, you know, dips or something like that, I could always do them, but just inherently it's below the VWAP. So the dips aren't going to get usually bought up as well as a dip above VWAP. So ALF right now is just going to be a one to keep on watch later. ADIL moving a little faster. Floats 12 million shares. It's hitting our scanners there. It's a nice move. Daily chart has room up to 378. These are a little cheaper. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly the best place to be a buyer, but it could be for a break of 3. So I'd be a buyer over 3. See, there's 98, 99. So I have a 3,000 share starter at 99. A buyer for the break of 3, and then over 310 would be an add. Do we get that continuation? So adding there at 307. Looking for the squeeze through 315. Once we start to pull away from the whole dollar, I'll add. We know that 310 then gives us room up to 325 and 330. It's a bit lower price, so this is one that I can work with a little bit better. Watch over 310, 308, looking for 9. Adding at 307 because it's holding. You can see that it's holding $3. There you go. So nice little trade there. There's a 10,000 share buyer at 3. So I can always use that as a backstop. Take a little profit off the table. Yeah. Small, actually only $175 winner. Small winner, but that's okay. So that's the type of trade that's just a quick base hit. Probably the best way to do that would have been just to get in at 99 and get out at 304, whole dollar breakout. Trying to add for the break of 310 was probably too aggressive on that stock. Yep, so we had IKNX on watch from Friday for possible continuation. The levels I said was I wanted to see it over 20 and then 2280. But it is moving up a little bit. The volume is lighter and the spreads are a bit bigger. BTX, yeah, I tried to pull that chart up. I see it's got kind of that curling pattern on the daily, but I don't know. Yeah, Chris, I would have been done after that. IKNX, I'll take a 2,000 share starter on it. We'll see if it squeezes up to $22. The spot where I'd be more interested is if it can break over 2280, but I don't mind a starter here. We'll see if it can break over. So there's 22. 22.85 is the halt level. I think it probably makes sense to take a little off the table at 22 and then add back if it holds. New order at 22.20. Still light on volume, which is why I only took 2,000 shares. So see, it just broke and then it pulled back, like a little bit of a false break. The high showing at 22.10. I'll put an order at 22.11. Added there. 23. 22.80 is our spot that I'm watching, and then 23.25 is the halt level. So there's 22.90, taking a little profit off under 23. These are small trades. It's not one that I can take big size on yet. But we know yesterday's high was 25. So at this point, I'm going to size down. I'll let it pull back. It's on the high day Momo scanner right there. Looking for 23.50. There's 23.30. Added at 23.30. We'll see if we get the squeeze up to $24. There's 48. So let's see if we get that squeeze up over 23.50 to 24. Watching for a dip here. Added at 23.37. Looking for that quick pop over 23.50. There's 45 on the ask, holding 778 shares. Size down a little bit. Holding 195 shares. I'm going to look for a dip. Can it hold 22.80? Buy orders at 22.75 to try to buy the dip, and I'm getting filled at 22.75 right now between the spread. So I'm buying the dip there off of the previous support. The problem is I only filled 450 shares. So my average is 22.90. IKNX is on the high day Momo scanner. It's a continuation stock from the previous day. We had it on watch earlier. I jumped in a little high. I chased it a bit. My largest positions were once it was at its high, because that's when it had the most volume. So our current high right now is 23.62. I'm buying the dip right there. Bought the dip at 22.80. And I'm trying to time the first 1 minute candle to make a new high for the break through 23.50 and then a squeeze to 24. So I'm looking for that first 1 minute candle to make a new high. We have about 20 seconds left on this candle. Added at 23.21 with 10 seconds left on this candle, looking for the break through 23.50. There's 23.20, 3 seconds left, and now we're looking for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, which is going to be over 23.43. Watch right here. There's the volume coming in, 23.40. 23.50 is the add spot. We want to see the break through 23.50. Bought the dip at 97. Let it come up for a retest at 23.50. If we can break 23.50, then we have a chance at retesting yesterday's high, 25. Sold the rest for a $2,500 loss. I'm going to look for a dip off the VWAP, try to reposition off of 22. So I'm only up $500 on IKNX now. RSLS is curling up a little bit. That's good to see. I'll keep that one on watch. The problem with IKNX, of course, are bigger spreads. So, you know, easy come, easy go. I was up 3,000 on it. Now I'm up 2,500 or 500. Gave back 2,500. ALF curling back up a little bit as well. Needs to get over the volume weight average price. So you can see ALF squeezing up here. The volume weight average price is at 2040. I don't know that I would buy it below VWAP in this current position. I think the risk is too high. IKNX broke back below VWAP. I'd consider dip trades on it, but I don't like that the red candle is pulling back this much. I wanted to see it hold at the VWAP. So I'm keeping that one on watch on a side chart. ALF needs to pull back a little bit. You've got 2, 4, 6 green candles in a row. RSLS. Yeah. IKNX, look at that. Look at that bounce. I'm buying the dip on IKNX because this looks like it's going to squeeze out some early short sellers here. Over 23.50 would be an add for 24. See that rip back up? Watch IKNX through 23.50. Adding right there. Now looking for $24. There's 90. We're looking for the squeeze through 24 and up to 24.50. When you get that kind of rejection, these can be violent. All right, so watching IKNX for the add over 24. Micro pullback right here. Adding. Looking for 24.50. There's a big bid that I just saw on the level 2. Can we get 24.50? It's flashing a little bit higher. Let's see how much higher it wants to go. Adding at 95 right there. Now looking for 24.50, 24.25 as it squeezes higher. These are the types that I get aggressive on. Dip at 78, bought the dip. Now looking for the pop back through 24. Watch the break back over $24 on IKNX. There's 23.80. So we want to see 90, 97. There's 92. My average is 23.61. I'm looking for the break back over 24. There's 23.90, 23.90 on the ask. First 1 minute pullback after that violent break. Can I add at 95? Watching to see where I can add. So that put me back to up 22,000. That was a $5,000 trade, holding 2,300 shares and looking to see if we get the first 1 minute candle making new high through 24.50. If we can break yesterday's highs, then we're going to have some nice momentum, but that's the level that really needs to break. So can we break over 24? Let's see what happens. There's 24.25. It's perking higher. High of this candle is 24.36. If we break 24.36, then we're looking at 24.50. And then we're not far off from 25. So my buy orders will be at 24.36, 24.46, 56.66, and just adding every 10 cents. Added right there at 36. So I'll add again at 56 right there. So I'm adding every 10 cents for the squeeze up to 25. 95 is my next add spot. Halt level is 25.88. Once we start getting this kind of momentum, like I said, I get pretty aggressive. Adding at 71 right there, dip trade. Now looking for the break through $25. There's 88. There's 94. 95. There's 25 on the ask. There we go, 25.40. Now I'm going to look for another pullback. Halt level's 26. Added at 18, 25.18. Now looking for 25.50. So once we get into, like I said, this parabolic kind of momentum where it's going straight up, I add around $0.50 and whole dollars. So watching 25, adding right there, now looking for $26. So let's see if we get the squeeze at 26. There's 24.97. There's 26.38. So what I said is that when you have that kind of move, it can be violent. And this is what I meant. Taking a little more off the table. Now I'm going to look at the high. The high is 26.25. I don't want to underestimate that it could pull back quite a bit. This was a 1 minute pullback right here. And that gave us almost a 2-point breakout up to 26.25. So now I'm going to let it pull back. The high is 26.25. Add it at 25.42. Doing a dip trade for the retest of 26. And we'll see if people start aggressively dip trading this for the moves higher. Added right there. Now looking for the squeeze through 26.48, 26.50, and then 27. So watch the break at 26.48. Adding right here, looking for $27. So target's 27. There's 48 on the ask. Watch as it squeezes through 48 for 26.50, 26.60, 26.70. There you go. There's 75. I'm going to add at 75 right there. I'm looking for 27. I'll add again at 85. So I add every 5-10 cents for these breakouts, and I'm looking for that squeeze of $27. Letting it pull back. Long at 26, 25.97, buying the dip. So I buy these dips for the next leg up. There's 26 on the ask. Reducing size a little bit down to 1,600 shares. Gave back a little bit on that trade. Added high. Watching for a dip. Bought the dip at 81. Looking for the pop back over 26 on the 1 minute chart. There's 26.20. Looking for 26.50. Sold the rest for right now, so up just under 26,000. So I think I don't know what my high was if I was at 30, but I definitely saw 28. So it looks like I gave back about 2,000 off the top. The high is 26.90. I was looking for the break of 27. So, okay, so my high was 32, so I gave back about, yeah, so 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 almost. It's a decent amount to give back. 6,000. ALF just hit the VWAP, pulled back. Yeah, it was getting long right here for the break through 27, and then that flashed down, and then I was unwinding the position around 26. I think that was around where it was that I gave back the gains. So, you know, when you have a drop from 27 to 25, that's a 2-point drop. Easy come, easy go. You've already seen it a couple times today. I went from up 10,000 to 19, and then up only 9. And then back to up 20, 25, 28, 32, now at 25, 26. Red doji on the 5-minute chart, candle of indecision. The high of day is 26.90. So if I think that it's going to squeeze through the highs, that's where I'd be interested, but we'll see. So IKNX, the high there was 26.90. It's pulling back again. The VWAP is 23.86. That was a false breakout on the 1-minute chart right there. So the first 1-minute pullback after that wild 5-minute breakout was solid. But now we've got a red doji on the top. We kind of pulled back a little hard, and we're going to have to consolidate a little longer for this pattern to form a new setup. AUUD on the scanners. Nice, Andre. Good for you. Posting a $15,000 P&L. I mean, I thought IKNX was done after that red candle in the break of VWAP, and then it just ripped right back up. So I don't know what that was all about, but it just ripped right back up, so I jumped back in. So just kind of looking at the chart on this thing. Kind of in this little consolidation here. Not a perfect 5-minute chart because the topping tail doji, this current candle, it is a bullish pattern if it holds here, but the 5-minute makes it a little bit bearish because of that candle of indecision. So I don't know that traders are going to be aggressively buying up this pattern given that it's extended. And we're getting a little later in the morning as well. So I would say the spot to watch would be like 25.50. Dip trades, though, would be better because if I get a dip off to like 24.50, then I could give it a second just to work. So I'm going to just sit on my hands for a few minutes. I can't really trust it just yet up here. So you could see that breakout over 25.50. Gave you a little pop up to 25.87. High, this candle that was red was 25.92. First 5-minute candle to make a new high would be about 26. I'll do a dip at 67 into the first 5-minute candle making a new high over $26. So looking for the break of 26, first 5-minute candle. Nice. Now new order goes at 26.50. If it can hold over 26, can it hold 26? Watching. Right, so we're starting to pull away a little bit, but can we get like a 1-minute micro pullback? So on the 10-second chart, you see how we popped up here. So I'm looking for that micro pullback. I'm going to add at 26.19, buying the dip right there. Now looking for the breakthrough 26.50. $26.50, watching, add at 26.50 right there. Now looking for a squeeze back to 27. So now I think we've got the right setup here for the move back to $27. 26.75, 26.80, continue to add spots for that short squeeze through 27. Watch right here. So looking for adds at 26.75, then 26.80. Watch here, there's 75, just add it at 75. Looking for 85, there's 90, there's 27. That'll do. Can I get 27.10? Dip trade at 76. There's 27.50. Wow. How much higher is it going to go? Dip trade again, 26.75. Looking for the break back through 27. We got a nice pop there. Dip trade. Where can I do a dip? That might be kind of that blow off top. 26.68 is my cost basis. My best exit, 27.34, 240 shares filled. Bought the dip at 72 and 94 actually. Bought the dip there, 25.94. Looking for the pop back over 26. So, you know, all things considered, I'll sell that for now. All things considered, that was a good trade, but I didn't size up enough for it to be like a monster trade. And it didn't continue. It hit 27, it popped to 27.50, but it didn't stay up there long enough. So long at 24.98, another dip trade, irrational sell-off, panic flush, looking for 25.50. So I got a nice, we'll get 50 cents on the break through 25.50. So there's 25.44. Looking for that pop through 25.50. That's a bounce pretty close to the VWAP. See if we get the move back up towards 26. There we go. All right, taking some of that off the table. 25.50. But, you know, I'll do dip trades and stuff like that, but it's tricky stuff. All right, I'm gonna set a stop on that, and let's see, ALF. Could do a bounce here off the VWAP or off the 200 moving average, but I don't think that's really worth it. MRIN, let's look. Okay, so it broke back over the VWAP. Its high a day is 585. So it's a little high, but it is squeezing up here. The problem is if I got in right here, I'd just be buying into a squeeze. I don't feel like I have a really good entry. High is 25.62. So I have to wait. You've got 3 green candles in a row. On the 5 minute, it's just a little extended. That's the problem here. I have to wait for an entry. $62 is the high of that move. Nice, George. Good job. This you can see is a 10-second pullback on MRIN. Quick trade there. But I didn't get filled well. I got filled too high. Bought the dip at 51. Brings my average down to 55. Let's see if it comes back up to 58, 59. So bounce off the $0.50. Yeah, the problem with this one, it's a little choppy. So now you've got a topping tail on the 1 minute chart with a high of 64. So I'm down like 10 cents a share. I could average down on it, but I'm just gonna cut the loss. I just don't think it's really worth it. So I think I'm gonna call it a day there. Up $30,915.95. Good day on both ALF and IKNX. Choppy on ADIL and MRIN. But that's all right. I don't know what I did on MRIN on Friday. All right, so again, a reminder to those tuned in on Facebook and YouTube this week, I'm doing live streaming as I get ready to start a new small count challenge next week, which is going to be fun. So would love to have you guys come over to warriortrading.com, check out the website, and check out the classes that we have. In case you didn't already know, day trading is risky. Most beginner traders lose money, and my results and experience trading are not typical. So you should assume you'll lose money as a trader, and with that assumption in mind, trade in a simulator before you put real money on the line. And I'll give you guys a link right here where you can register and watch a replay of my most recent day trading class for those on YouTube. Okay, so that's it for me. Good luck if you keep trading. Usually it's the first hour where we see the most momentum and the most opportunity, so I try not to overstay my welcome if I can help it. I'm sure things will move this afternoon without me, but I'm okay with that. I'll let them squeeze or do whatever they want without me. I've made my money. I'm done for the day. I'm shutting it down, and I will be back tomorrow. Okay, see you in the morning. Bye, everyone.